This is Investigative Poetics. 13 years ago, my father drove to the train station, put a gun in his mouth, and pulled the trigger. You may have heard this story before because the next morning, his suicide was on the front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer, his face and name displayed above the fold. At the time, he was under federal investigation, and for a year the story had played out in the news, how my father, Brien Gardiner, a pioneer in special education, had built a network of charter schools and shell nonprofits, how, through an elaborate system of land deals and consulting contracts, he and his associates looted millions in taxpayer dollars from the Philadelphia Academy Charter School and the School District of Philadelphia. It was a shameful tale of top-to-bottom corruption, nepotism, theft, and abuse of power. And the greatest shame of all, they were caught stealing education from children. Perhaps my father just couldn't live with the guilt. Federal indictments were imminent when, with a single gunshot, he ended their investigation into his involvement and took his secrets to the grave. It's been 13 years since my father's suicide. His associates have long since been sentenced and served their time. The case is closed. Everyone else has moved on, but I am stuck at the moment he pulled the trigger. I just haven't moved on from that blast. The story may be a matter of public record, but I am quite sure that the whole truth has never been told. There are so many remaining questions around my father's death. Who was he trying to protect? And what was he trying to hide? Investigative Poetics is a literary experiment that reopens my father's case and gives an intimate look into what they didn't tell you in the paper. Join the investigation as I try to solve the mysteries around my father's suicide. Follow me as I study the price of shame and the consequences of our lives, as I re-examine the public record, talk to journalists and law enforcement, and interview witnesses and victims of my father's crimes. Because ultimately, poetry is how we and what survives.